हवामहे कविं कवीनामुपमश्रवस्तमम् ज्येष्ठराजं ब्रह्मणां ब्रह्मणस्पत आनशृण्वन्नोतिभिः सीदसादनम् प्रणो देवी सरस्वती वाजेभिर्वाजिनीवती धीनामवित्र्यवतु गणेशाय नमः सरस्वत्यै नमः श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ओम् ॐ साईश्वराय विद्महे सत्यदेवाय धीमहि तन्नः सर्वः प्रचोदयात्। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री साईराम. Sairam to one and all. Today we will be taking up Medha Suktam in our Veda Sadhana Varga. First of all, my apologies because there is some disturbing sound here. I will try my best to speak loudly. If there is any problem, if the clarity is not there, kindly feel free to stop me and let me know. Okay, so today let us start with the Medha Suktam. Yeah, so now we go line by line and see how to chant it in a correct manner. So first line is Yaschandasa Mrishabho Vishwarupaha. So here Yaschandasa, ya, and after that half sha. So please note that it is sha. There are three types: sa, sha, and sha. So here it is sha. Yash chandasa. Cha is a Mahapran letter. So yash chandasa. It is not yash chandasa. We have to be very careful about the Alpapran and Mahapran during the pronunciation. Pronunciation is very important, as we have already seen in Ganapati Prarthana and Ganapati Atharva Shirsham, which was taken up. So again, to see this Medha Sukta. So here it is Yash Cha, Cha. Cha is Mahapran. Then half na and the, and then sa mr sha bho. Here sha is sha, it is not sha. There is a tendency for many to pronounce sha as sha. Sha and sha are different, so please note that. And again bho is Mahapran. Vishwa Rupaha. Ru is a Dirgha Matra. So we have Akshara Shuddhi, Matra Shuddhi, and Swara Shuddhi. So here Ru comes under the Matra Shuddhi, where it is a Dirgha Matra. Then next line, Chandobhyo Dhyamrita Sambabhuva. Sambabhuva. So cha here again Mahapran and Chandobhyo. Bhyo, it is not Chandobhyo, it is Chandobhyo. After bhyo we have here one S sign. S sign, it is called Avagraha. So wherever there is Avagraha, we have to remember two things. First is we should not be adding a there, and we should not break over there while chanting. So ensure that you take a long breath before the line if the avagraha comes in between the line. Now here, chandobhyodhyamrita sambabhuva is one, in one breath we have to chant. So we have to ensure that we take a long breath before the cha starts. And then sambabhuva, here it is sam. There is a anuswara. So last two times we have seen the anuswara rules. That is, when there is a anuswara, now here in this case we have ba. After the sam we have ba. So what will be the nasal sound? So it will be, since ba falls under the pa varga, it will be pa, pha, ba, bha and ma. So here the sound of anuswara will remain as It will not be any other sound. So here it will be sambabhuva. Then sa mendro medhaya sprunotu. Now again medhaya. It is medhaya. It is not medaya. The difference, there is a difference between medha and meda. Medha is, as per the Sanskrit dictionary, it is obesity or fat. So here, through the Medha Suktam, we are invoking the blessings of Medha Devi and not Medha Devi. Okay, so to pronounce as Medha is very important. And as regarding the Dirgha Swarita is concerned, Dirgha Swarita, this is called Dirgha Swarita. So the Dirgha Swarita has to be pronounced properly. That is, here Medha. So when we chant, it should be Samendro Medhaya Aspranoto. There should be no sing-song way, there is Medhaya, that Dirgha Swarita will have to be chanted properly. Medhaya and there is any other way of chanting, please note that will, like, it should not be definitely the sing-song way. Then sprunotu. Then after that, amritasya deva dharano bhuyasam. So here dharano, dha is Mahapran and bhuyasam, bhu is again Mahapran. And shariram me vicharshanam. Here again shariram. Ram will be ram. It will not be any other sound because it is followed by the letter ma. So as we have seen, pa, pha, ba, bha, ma. So for ma it will be shariram. Me vicharshanam. Then here again vicharsha. Sha is very important. It is not vicharshana. Vicharshanam. Na again. There are two na. One is na and one is na. So here again there is a tendency to mix up the both na and na. It is vicharshanam. Then jihwa. Jihwa. It is not jihwa. It is jihwa. Me madhu mattama. Then karnabhyam. Karna again dirgha swarita. Bhyam bhuri. Bhyam bha is Mahapran. Bhuri again Mahapran. Vishruvam. Then Brahmana Koshosi. Now there is Brahma. Brahma. It is to be pronounced properly. It is not Brahmana. It is Brahmana. Now there is a Visarga here. These two lines denoted. This stands for Visarga. Now Visarga, again for Visarga we have rules of Visarga. Visarga followed by the letter K. The Visarga sound is Brahmana. Sound will come. So Brahmana Koshosi. We should not be chanting it as Brahmana Koshosi. It is Brahmana Koshosi Medhaya Pihitaha. Then Shrutam Me Gopaya. Here again, Shru. There is a difference between Shru and Shru. We in Ganapati Prarthana we have Ana Shrunvan, that is Shru, and here it is Shrutam. And again, if we see here Amr, Mr should be pronounced properly. It is not Amruta. It is Amrita. Sound has to come. Amritatsya. Similarly, here it is not Shru, it is Shru. Shrutam me Gopaya. Then Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Now here as far as the intonation is concerned, intonation is very important. In the first line of the Medha Suktam, that is Medha Devi Jushamanana Aga. Means Medha Devi, who is pleased with us, comes to us. So here when we see
Sai Sudha,
yes,
just one thing, please underline karne ke badle, can you indicate the letter some other way, because it may confuse with the Anudata Swara when you are underlining some letters to indicate arrow or some from upside or something like that. Side.
Okay, yeah. Okay, Siddharth, thank you. So here, Medha Devi Jushamanana. Na, we can see that it is the intonation is Anudata here. Now, if we change the intonation and make this na as Swarita. Swarita means instead of taking it in a lower swara, if we take it in a higher swara, then the meaning changes. Instead of invoking Devi, we will be saying Devi to not to come. So, na means here the intonation is very, very important. So, Medha Devi, again Medha, everywhere Medha has to be Medha and not Medha. Jusha Manana Aga Dvishwachi Dvi, again Dvi, clarity is very important. Dvishwachi, chi, again it is Dirgha Matra. Bhadra, both this is Bha is Mahapran and there is a Dirgha Matra in Dra. So these letters which are Pra, Dra, all these are called Samyukta Aksharas. This is a combination of the and ra. So these letters are slightly to be stressed while chanting, like Medha Devi Jushamana na aga advishwachi bhadra, bhadra, like this. Then Sumanasya mana. Then Tvaya Jushta. Here again Shta, not Jushta. Tvaya Jushta Nudamana Duruktan Brihadvadema Vidathe. Actually, it is right, Siddharth. It is Vidathe or Vidhate. I think it is Vidathe. Sairam. Sairam, Siddharth, it is Vidathe, right?
There is a Patha Bheda in that. Vidathe is there in some place texts. Vidathe is also there, but
Okay.
meaning does not change. But Vidathe, as you said, means normally we use Vidathe. There
Yeah.
should not be
So
Mahapran, should be Alpapran. Vidathe.
yeah. So here please note that it is the is Alpapran, the the Suviraha. Here the Visarga, when it comes at the end of the sentence, it will be Suviraha. Then next line, Tvaya, sorry, Tvaya Jushta Nudamana Duruktan, sorry, Tvaya Jushta Rishir Bhavati, Tvaya Jushta Rishir Bhavati. Now here in this word, R is pronounced as R. It is not Ru. It is not Rushir Bhavati. It is R. Rishir Bhavati. Then here it is Devitvaya. So here the Devi is, it is a Hraswa Matra. Hraswa Matra means small iki Matra. Here it is not Devi, it is Devi. So normally there is a tendency to elongate the Hraswa Matra. So we should not be doing that while chanting. We have to be conscious. So according to me, the best way to take precaution is whenever a word ends with Hraswa Matra letter syllable, it's better you don't break it there so that it doesn't get elongated. So it can be even here, Rishir Bhavati Devitvaya. And Twa, again it is a combination of half the and va. So Devitvaya. It should not be Devitvaya. So Tvaya Jushta Rishir Bhavati Devitvaya Brahma Gata Shri Rutatvaya. Brahma, again, that clarity should be there. It should not be Brahma Gata. Brahma Gata Shri Rutatvaya. Then the next line is Tvaya Jushta Chitram. Jushta, again, Chi. It is not Jushta Chitram. Chitram. Vindate Vasusano Jushaswa Dravinona Medhe. Again, Jushaswa Dravino. That stress, slight stress has to come because it is a Samyukta Akshara. Now, Medham Indro Dadatu. Here it is Dadatu. There is a difference between Dadhatu and Dadatu. We will look at that when we do the meanings. Now, please note that here it is Dadatu. It is all the and da are alpapran. Both the, datu. Medha, Devi, Saraswati. Ending with Dirgha Matra. Then Medham me Ashwina Vubha. Here, please note that it is Ashwina Vubha. It is, there is a tendency to pronounce this as Ashwina Ubha. It is not Ubha. It is Vu. Ashwina Vubha Vadhattam. Bha. Again here Mahapran, and after that Va. Dha is again Mahapran, and Tam. Here it is double ta. It is dvaita. So it has to be stressed again. Vadhatam. You can't do that. It is vadhatam. Pushkarasraja. Here it is sra. Half sa and sra. It is not stra. Please note that it is this letter many times is mispronounced as stra. It is not stra. It is pushkara sra. S-R-A. Sraja. Then apsarasu. Very often this apsarasu word intonation is not chanted properly. So we have to be very careful that we chant it properly with proper intonation. Intonation here in this particular word is A is Anudata, Sa is Anudata, Ra is Udata, and Su is Swarita. So it is Apsarasu. There are many versions of Apsarasu that I have heard of, but kindly note this. This is the correct intonation. It is Apsarasu Chaya. This is the way it has to be chanted. Then Medha Gandharveshu. Here Gandha. Gandharva. It's not Gandharva. Gandharva. Gandharveshu. Here again, Gandharveshu. That is not correct. That Rve has to be Rve. It should not be R and Ve. Those that R and Ve will be, R will be a different letter and Ve will be a different letter. But here it is Rve. So it cannot be Gandharveshu. It has to be Gandharveshu Chayan Manaha. Then Daivim Medha Saraswati. Here again there is a Anuswara followed by Ma. So it will be Daivim Medha Saraswati Samam again Mam Medha Surabhirjushatag-swaha. Now here there is a Anuswara. It is Surabhirjushatag-swaha. Either Anuswara is not there actually. Right? There is, I'm sorry. Check it properly before.
Gum is always written like that, but whenever Sanyukta Akshara is there in front of it, it becomes Gus. Automatically. Symbol is the same. Only when Sanyukta Akshara is there following the Gum, it will become Gus. That's
okay. Sorry. Okay. Thank you, Siddharth. So here it is Surabhirjushatag-swaha. Fine. Then Ama Medha Surabhir Vishwarupa. Here again, Surabhir Vishwa. It is not Surabhir Vishwa. Surabhir Vishwarupa. Hiranya Varna. Here again, not Varuna. Hiranya Varuna, we don't have to say. It is Hiranya Varna Jagati Jagamya. Then here again Medha we have to remember, otherwise I think no complicated words are there. Jagamya it is. Mya again mya when ma and any akshara, with any akshara if ya is there, the sound has to come properly. Jagamya. It is not Jagamya. It has to be heard as Jagamya. Yeah, that sound has to be heard. Then Urjaswati. This U over here is a Dirgha U. So Urjaswati, not Urjaswati and not Urjaswati. It has to be Urjaswati Payasa Pinvamana Sama Medha Supratika Jushantam. Then Mayi Medham Mayi. Here again, it is not Mayi Medham. It is Mayi. Mayi Medham. That clarity has to come. It's not Mayi Medha. It's not Me Medha. It is Mayi Medham Mayi Prajam Mayi Agni. Maya, iya. It is a Dvaita Akshara. So that iya has to be heard clearly. It is not Mayagni Stejo. That iya stress should be heard properly. Mayagni Stejo Dadhatu. So we had seen the Dadhatu earlier. Now comes the Dadhatu. So please note that in the last 3 lines, it is the dhatu, and we have to chant it as the dhatu and not dadatu. So here it is the dhatu. Then next line, Mayi Medham, Mayi Praja, Mayindra. It is Mayindra. So here there is a tendency to break it as Mayindra. That is not required. We have to chant it as Mayindra Indriyan Dadhatu. Now here there is a Anuswara followed by the letter the. So when the Anuswara is followed by the Anunasik sound will be the falls in the ta varga. So ta, tha, the, na. Na is the Anunasik sound. It is different from the ordinary na what we say. So here it has to be a nasal sound. So Indriyan Dadhatu. Indriyan Dadhatu. Okay, so this Anunasik sound has to be heard properly while chanting. Then we have Mayi Medha, Mayi Praja, Mayi Suryo, Bhrajo, Dadhatu. And here again Bhrajo, not Brajo. And last is the Hamsa Gayatri. Here it is Hamsa Hamsaya. There are different regional influences here like Hansa and Hausa, but this was clarified with one of the experts, and we were told that it is Hamsa. The Anuswara sound before the Sa will get the sound So Hamsa Hamsaya. It is not Hamsa Hamsaya or Hansa Hansaya. It is Hamsa Hamsaya Vidmahe Parama Hamsaya Dhimahi Tanno Hamsa Prachodayat. Now here this Visarga followed by Pa. The sound if has to be heard clearly while chanting. This Visarga followed by pra comes in almost all the Gayatris. So we have to be very careful and alert while chanting this. It should be Hamsaf Prachodayat. This is how it has to be chanted. Now we'll just see how to chant the whole sutta. Yaschandasam Rishabho Vishwarupah Chandobhyodhyamrita Atsam Babhuva Samendro Medhaya Aspranoto अमृतस्य देवधारणो भूयासम् शरीरं मे विचर्षणम् जिह्वा मे मधुमत्तमा कर्णाभ्यां भूरि विश्रुवम् ब्रह्मणः कोशोऽसि मेधया पिहितः श्रुतं मे गोपाय ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः मेधा देवी जुषमाणा न आगाद्विश्वाची भद्रा सुमनस्य माना त्वया जुष्टानुदमाना दुरुक्तान् बृहद्वदेम विधते सुवीरा आहा त्वया जुष्ट ऋषिर्भवति देवी त्वया ब्रह्मा गतश्रीरुतत्वया त्वया जुष्टश्चित्रं विन्दते वसुसानो जुषस्वत्र विनो न मेधे मेधाम इन्द्रो ददातु मेधां देवी सरस्वती मेधां मे अश्विना उभावा धत्तां पुष्करस्रजा अप्सरासु जया मेधा गन्धर्वेषु चयन्मनः दैवी ईं मेधा सरस्वती सामा आं मेधा सुरभिर्जुषताक स्वाहा आमा आं मेधा सुरभिर्विश्वरूपा हिरण्यवर्णा जगति जगम्या ऊर्जस्वती पयसा पिन्वमाना सामा आं मेधा सुप्रतीका जुषन्ताम् मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मय्यग्निस्तेजो दधातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयीन्द्र इन्द्रियं दधातु मयि मेधां मयि प्रजां मयि सूर्यो भ्राजो दधातु हंसाय विद्महे परमहंसाय धीमहि तन्नो हंसः प्रचोदयात् ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Now here I'm sorry I left this one over here. Jushtas chitraum vindate. Here the anuswara sound followed by V verb. It will come nasal sound V. So it will be Jushtas chitraum vindate. That nasal sound has to come. Actually, when you chant that, you will feel that sort of pressure or vibration over there in the nose. So it has to come like that. Otherwise, please note that you're not chanting it properly. Tvaya jushtaschitram vindate. That pressure has to come. That is when then I have noticed Tvaya jushta. That is not correct. So that is why there is a tendency for the shta to be elongated. That is why it is better not to keep a gap. Wherever the word ends with hraswa matra, There is jushta. It is not jushta. So jushta. So do not keep a gap so that shta doesn't become shta. Okay. I have heard many people chanting Tvaya Jushta Rishir Bhavati. It is Jushta Rishir Bhavati. So immediately after Shta, without giving a gap, we have to chant the next word. These two I had noticed while chanting. So we'll quickly see the meaning of Medha Suktam, and we will just see the overall meaning because there is, there will have to be a separate the session for meaning. It is very vast actually, the meaning, because there are many dimensions to the meaning. So we will quickly see just the overall meaning. Here let us remember that Medha refers to the higher or the spiritual intelligence, because there is a difference between intelligence and spiritual intelligence, that is intellect. So here we are praying to Medha Devi for the intellect. Intellect is buddhi, that is Medha, which represents a superior power, and this is derived from the inner spirit. Okay, so this is not ordinary intelligence. Ordinary intelligence is just to absorb something, but this is not that. Medha is buddhi. It is just not intelligence. So we have to keep in mind, because of the relationship of the intellect, that intelligence which is called intellect, with the inner self, it has divine attributes. So we have to be very careful while chanting that it is Medha. Medha means it is not ordinary intelligence, but it is intellect. And this spiritual intelligence is actually inspired from within. Okay, so now for Yes Chandasam Rishabho, quickly I will just say the meaning. It is it is like um, we are praying to Medha Devi for blessings, for spiritual intelligence or Viveka Buddhi. As I said, it is not ordinary intelligence. Then may I be blessed with the immortality. And immortality in the sense, it is not like, not always being in the physical form or something like that. It is not that. Immortality is not in an individual level. It is immortality means let the learnings go on from generation to generation. That is, it refers to basically the progeny, because the great rishis and munis, they prayed for the immortality and they were blessed with immortality. Today we are in a position to learn and chant all these Vedas and Upanishads. So whenever we are asking for immortality, it is not at a personal level. So whenever we are chanting, and any suktam for that matter, we have to always remember that whatever we are asking, it is not for our personal benefit. And it is very clear, even when we have our chanting, the Rudram chanting, always it is mentioned, Ekadasha Rudram chanting or any chanting, always it is mentioned for Loka Kalyanam. So it is always when we are chanting, even chanting Namakam also, please remember, Namakam and Chamakam especially, please remember that we are not asking for at a personal level. It is always for the generations to come, for everyone to know about our wealth, that is Vedas and Upanishads. Then that after the immortality, it is like it is Amritasya Deva Devadharano Bhuyasam. Then Shariram me Vicharshanam, Jihva me Madhumattama, Karnabhyam Bhuri Vishwama. Means all these are referring to our organs. So let the Shariram means let the our body be strong to learn this, acquire the knowledge and spread the knowledge. Then let the tongue speak sweetly, and let the ears listen to it properly, and so that we may pass on these Vedas to the generations. Basically, Karnabhyam Bhuri Vishruvam refers to the progeny, so that we listen, learn properly, and then pass it on to our other generations. Then also listening is listening to newer and newer things. It should not be, there should not be a end to it. We should always keep learning. We should always keep listening and learning. So that is the Karnabhyam Bhuri Vishruvam. Then coming to the Medha Devi Jushamanana Aga, here here we are, as I mentioned here, intonation is very important. Medha Devi, we are praying to Medha Devi, who is pleased with us, and she is all pervasive. She's everywhere, and she comes with a positive attitude, and thus she blesses us with all these qualities, and she blesses us with intellect. And this is, and whenever there is durukta, that is, whenever there is, before she blesses us, before she arrives, we are wasting our time in ordinary talks. So once Devi, Medha Devi comes and blesses us, then we make use of our speech in good manner, and we start chanting and learning and chanting new things. That is, then then Tvaya Jushta Rishir Bhavati means by Medha Devi's grace, anybody can become a rishi. One becomes a rishi, and with Medha Devi's grace, one can also become a Brahmagnani. Brahmagnani is the one who has knowledge about the Brahman. So, with Medha Devi's grace, anyone can become a rishi or a Brahmagnani, and then there is the prosperity and abundance also. When Medha Devi arrives, she blesses us with prosperity and abundance, and then we are praying to Lord Indra to give us this intellect, and then we are also praying to the Ashwini Kumars. Ashwini Kumars are the gods of medicine, and we are praying to Ashwini Kumars also for intellect, and establish and make Medha Shakti should be established in us, so that we can pass on the message of this intellect to generations and generation. Then we are praying to Medha Devi for giving us the intellect like the Apsaras and Gandharvas. Apsaras and Gandharvas are such great people who have the knowledge and the wisdom. So we are asking Medha Devi to bless us also with the intellect, like the memory of the Apsaras and the thought process of the Gandharvas. And then we are also praying to Medha Devi for the Urjaswati. Urjaswati is the strength. with which Medha Devi comes. So Urjaswa is the strength. So we are praying to Medha Devi to be nourished with all the strength, full of strength. She is full of strength, and when she arrives, she imparts that strength and also the milk of knowledge to us. And sorry. Yeah. Now, my medham, my prajam means we are praying to the Agni and Agni, Indra and Surya for intelligence, progeny. Progeny is again not the personal progeny. It is progeny means the learning which has to be passed on from generations to generation. So we are praying to Agni for continuity of progeny, intelligence and the glow of Agni. And then Mahindra, Indra is the god of Indriyas. So we are praying to Indra for the control over our organs, both karmendriyas and jnanendriyas. Then we pray to Sun God for illuminating. Sun God is always for illuminating. So quality of illuminating. So this is the in short meaning of my Medha. Then Hamsa Hamsaya Vidmahe Paramahamsaya Dhimahi. Here Hamsa Hamsaya is Hamsa is Swami has spoken many times about this, that Hamsa is a swan is swan stands for discrimination. So discrimination, because swan can separate milk from water, or rather water from milk. Okay, so Hamsa Hamsaya Vidmahe Paramahamsaya Dhimahi means here we are meditating on Devi for the intellect. And this Hamsa Hamsaya Vidmahe means why Hamsa Hamsaya is there in this is because discrimination, and discrimination comes only with proper intellect. So that is why Hamsa Hamsaya Vidmahe, here we are meditating and praying for illumination. Let us all be illumined. That is the Medha Suktam. Now, any questions? And especially in chanting, pronunciation, matra shuddhi, swara shuddhi. If there are any questions, let us take it up. Sairam.
Sairam.
Yeah.
हाँ जी बोलिए.
Yes, Sairam. Yes. Yes.
Ma'am, where can I get the recording of Medha Suktam?
Today's this session is recorded, even though it is not being live telecast on YouTube right now, and it will be put on the YouTube channel means within few days at the most. And YouTube channel link we will just post it right now on the chat box. I will put it on the chat box. So
all right. And
madam, एक doubt है.
बोलिए please. बोलिए.
See, many people start this from Medha Devi Suchamana, Medha Devi Suchamanaya. Ignoring the earlier paragraph.
Yeah, yes, Chandasam is called it is the Shanti mantra.
Acha, okay. So how when we chant, we should chant from the beginning?
Yes.
Yeah, okay. That's what I wanted to know, ma'am. Thank you.
Sairam.
Sairam.
Any more questions?
निकिता जी, आपका और भी कोई सवाल था क्या? You had one more question.
No, I just wanted to know previous Atharva Shirsham का भी recording मुझे चाहिए था. I had attended the session.
Sure, I have posted the link of the YouTube channel in the chat box. So that has up to the last 3, means Ganpati Prarthana and 2 sessions of Ganpati Atharva Shirsham. And very soon we'll put up Medha Suktam also.
Yeah,
The YouTube link where we should check it. YouTube में किधर मिलेगा? YouTube में
अभी चैट बॉक्स में वो लिंक डाला है, आप उस पे क्लिक करेंगे तो आपको मिल जाएगा.
कितना VIP chat box?
Sir, नहीं मिला यहाँ. There is no link in the chat box.
अच्छा, maybe I sent. Okay.
Yeah,
just,
please post the link now.
Yeah, now I have put it on the chat box. Sorry, it had gone to an individual person. So now it has come, I hope, in the chat box.
Yeah, got it. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram. Anything else? Any more questions? Siddharth or Monish, anything to be added? Anything that I have missed out?
No, it's absolutely fine, wonderful session actually. But means just I think some of them are not comfortable with English and they would prefer Hindi. But
Oh, I'm sorry.
सभी भक्तगण के लिए ये बात जरूरी, आप जान रहे होंगे कि सबसे जो अच्छी तरीके से जानते हैं इन मंत्रों को, उन्हीं को हम आमंत्रित कर रहे हैं, आप बुला रहे हैं. तो साई सुधा जी तो बहुत अच्छे से जानते हैं मंत्र को. हिंदी में इसका अर्थ का हमारे सत्य सेवा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन महाराष्ट्र का एक यूट्यूब चैनल है, उसमें पिछले साल नवरात्रि के समय कुछ टॉक्स हुए थे. दुर्गा सूक्तम, श्री सूक्तम, मेधा सूक्तम सभी कुछ उसमें कवर हुआ था. तो जरूर उसमें आप देखिए, श्री सत्य साई सेवा ऑर्गेनाइजेशन महाराष्ट्र, और उसमें नवरात्रि सेलिब्रेशन 2020 में आप देखेंगे तो आपको जरूर उसमें वो मिलेगा. हिंदी में पूरा अर्थ जो इन्होंने संक्षिप्त में बताया वो बात बताई हुई है. तो हिंदी में अर्थ जानने के लिए ये हो सकता है. बाकी जो उच्चार की बात है या मंत्र घोषणा की बात है, वो तो मेरा ख्याल है सभी को समझा होगा जो साई सुधा जी ने अब बताया. और ये भी वीडियो यूट्यूब में रहेगा तो आप उससे और भी देख सकते हैं.
Yes, Disha, any questions?
Sairam auntie.
Yes, Sairam.
Auntie, when we start the Shanti mantra, we are supposed to start with Om, right?
Sorry?
When we start with the Shanti mantra, we are supposed to start with the Om, right?
See, it depends. If you are continuing the chanting, you need not actually start with Om. See, supposing you have got 1 hour chanting, and you are chanting one after the other, the suktams. So every time it is not necessary to chant Om. But if you are starting it, you can start with Om, but it is not necessary. Here, it can be directly started as Yash Chandasa.
Okay, and when we start with Medha, Devi, Dushaman, we have to say Om, or we just start it like that?
You can start it like that, but after Yash Chandasa, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti, you have to chant, because it is a Shanti mantra. So, and then you are starting Medha Devi. So in between you have to chant the Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Okay, thank you, auntie. Sai Ram.
Sai Ram.
Any more questions?
Sai Ram?
No questions from my side. Nicely covered. You have covered all the aspects.
Sai Ram. Sai Ram. So that's it. Shall we end the session?
The time is also correct, 6:25.
Yeah.
Shanti एक बार कर दीजिए. स्वस्ति प्रजा.
Yes. Yeah. ॐ स्वस्ति प्रजाभ्यः परिपालयन्ताम् न्यायेन मार्गेण महीं महिषाः गोब्राह्मणेभ्यः शुभमस्तु नित्यम् समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोकाः सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। जय साई राम।